All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Awesome. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into women and negotiation. It's been so interesting looking at all this research and all these different perspectives on this question of whether women are better negotiators.
Yeah, it's a complex issue for sure.
Definitely. We've seen that there are all these stereotypes out there,
Yeah.
but also a lot of evidence that women bring some really unique strengths to the table.
Yeah, like that collaborative approach.
Yeah,
And that focus on building relationships. Those are really valuable assets in any negotiation.
for sure. And
Yep.
despite those systemic challenges
Yeah.
that we talked about,
Yeah.
like the biases and the higher rejection rates,
Yeah.
it's inspiring to see how women are stepping up and negotiating more than ever.
Right. But as we wrap up, I think it's important to go beyond the statistics for a moment.
Yeah.
And reflect on our own experiences.
Yeah, I love that.
How has gender shaped our personal negotiation journeys?
That's a great point because I think sometimes those personal anecdotes can really hit home,
Mm.
like more so than just the research itself.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started negotiating, I was so nervous. Like I overprepared, I second-guessed myself. I almost talked myself out of asking for what I was worth.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially women, can relate to that. We're often taught to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, not to rock the boat. And that conditioning can make it really hard to assert ourselves in negotiation settings.
For sure. And it took me a while to realize that negotiation isn't about being aggressive or demanding. It's really about advocating for yourself, communicating your value, and finding solutions that work for everyone involved.
That's a cute insight. Negotiation is a skill that can be learned and developed, just like any other skill. And the more we practice it, the more confident and effective we become.
Absolutely. But even with practice, I think those systemic barriers that we discussed can make it a tougher road for women. Do you remember any early negotiation experiences that were particularly challenging or like eye-opening for you?
Oh, absolutely. Early in my career, I was negotiating a new job offer.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about the opportunity. But when I tried to negotiate a higher starting salary, I was met with so much resistance. The hiring manager actually told me, that's more than we typically offer to women at this level.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so disheartening, but unfortunately not surprising. To hear it stated so blatantly really underscores those deeply ingrained biases.
Yeah, it was a real wake-up call. It made me realize that even when you're prepared and you're qualified, you might still encounter pushback based solely on your gender.
Right.
It was frustrating, but it also fueled my determination to advocate for myself and for other women.
Yeah, I think those experiences, as tough as they are, can be incredibly motivating. They push us to challenge the status quo
Yeah.
and to fight for what we deserve.
Absolutely. And they highlight the importance of mentors and role models who can offer guidance and support.
Yeah, having a network of people who understand what you're going through, who can offer advice and encouragement. It can make a world of difference.
And it's not just about seeking out mentors. It's also about being a mentor to others, sharing our experiences. Both the successes and the setbacks can help empower other women to navigate these challenges.
So true. Lifting each other up and creating that culture of support is so essential.
But I want to kind of circle back to the organizational level for a moment. We've talked about these key actions that organizations can take to create a more equitable environment, like pay transparency, bias mitigation, fostering a positive negotiation culture. But how do we make sure that those changes actually happen? Is it just about like hoping that companies will do the right thing?
Hope is a good starting point, but it's not a strategy. We need to hold organizations accountable as consumers. We can choose to support businesses that align with our values. We can research companies before we buy their products or services, look for certifications that demonstrate their commitment to gender equity, and use our purchasing power to drive change.
Yeah, that's a good point. Voting with our wallets. And as employees, we can advocate for change within our own organizations, talk to our HR departments, raise awareness among our colleagues, and push for policies that promote pay equity and fairness in negotiation.
It's about speaking up, even when it's uncomfortable, and using our voices to create a more just and equitable workplace.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So it's like a multi-pronged approach:
Mhm.
individual empowerment, organizational accountability, and collective action. And it's not just about women advocating for themselves. It's about everyone working together to create a more inclusive and equitable negotiation landscape.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that gender equity benefits everyone. When women are empowered to negotiate effectively, everyone wins. Businesses thrive, economies grow, and societies become more just and prosperous.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a call to action. What are some concrete steps that we can all take,
Hmm.
starting today, to be part of the solution?
Okay, well, first, reflect on your own negotiation experiences. What challenges have you faced? What strengths do you bring to the table? How can you continue to develop your negotiation skills?
Great advice.
Educate yourself about the research on gender and negotiation. Share that knowledge with others. Help raise awareness.
Wow.
Support organizations that are championing gender equity. Advocate for change within your own workplace. Mentor other women. Share your experiences. And most importantly, never stop believing in your worth and your ability to negotiate effectively.
That's such a powerful message to end on. It's been incredible exploring this topic with you. Thanks for sharing all these insights.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, everyone, negotiation is a skill that can be learned and refined. And with practice, perseverance, and a commitment to creating a more equitable world, we can all become more effective negotiators, regardless of gender.
That's so true. Thank you all for joining us for this deep dive into the fascinating world of women in negotiation. We hope this conversation has inspired you to think differently about these issues and to take action in your own lives. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a more just and equitable world for everyone.